Hello, be very welcome once again to As Above, So Below. Today we have a very special episode about the year of 2024. Although I already made a video about 2023 until 2025, I decided that I'll, it is important to talk about the year of 2024 because we actually in the middle of a crossroads, a very important crossroad right now. So let's do it. Okay. We know that 2025 is going to be the end of a cycle, a very important cycle. 2025 in numerology is the year of 9, and when we have years that correspond to this vibration, it's like the hermit. You feel a little bit tired, a little bit drained, and you are closing a cycle. Okay. And in 2024 we have the year 8. It is the year of maturity. Okay, 8 is the number of money, intensity, maturity. And this year I made with my amazing colleagues another amazing notebook for the year of 2025. And this time around is in English. We have amazing foreword written by Ken Hollings as well. So we decided to make the whole thing in English. Why not? Okay, to honor his work and his visionary writing. I think I connect to a lot of things that he has already written. So that's it. We decided to do it that way this time. Um, so where should I begin? It's a kind of a complex deal for me because um, 2024, right now, we have the North Node in Aries and we have the South Node in Libra. So for me, it is literally the Emperor versus justice. It is justice versus passion, value, ego on the forefront. It is the battle versus the comeback. So it is a complex deal because the year of 8, it is usually corresponds to justice. Okay. And right now we have the South Node in Libra. So here's the card for me to explain to you why this is a big deal for me. Okay. I'm not illustrating this with the Rider-Waite Tarot, but you will understand what I'm saying. The Hermetic Tarot changed a lot of things, and the number of these cards was one of them. And usually strength is switched up with the Justice card. So in many decks we have Justice as number 11 and strength as number 8, which is kind of a beautiful coincidence with my life story in a way, because my South Node is in the 5th house. You see Leo, and then it is in Libra in the 5th house. So I've always been very connected to both of these cards. It talks about being just being aware of being and trying to be righteous to everyone that's around you, and trying to be fair. That's the word. Try to be fair. But sometimes, as a Piscean woman, I forget usually to be fair to myself. I'm talking about like 2 or 3 years ago. Right now, I don't feel that way at all. Okay, it was a very powerful thing to study both of these cards to manage to cope with my North Node, my personal North Node in Aries. So this is very interesting because We have the emperor that is dictating this north node, and the year of eight. And the year of eight is to be masterful, to try to become a master in everything that you learned the past 8 years. If the year of one is identity, two is trying to juggle your relationships, three is expansion and try to figure out ways of communicating what you feel with others. Four is a little bit tricky because you feel that you are building something, but at the same time you are locked up in a cage of obligations and discipline and duty. And then number five is chaotic because it changes everything. Usually it's um, a very passionate year. People fall in love, people decide to have babies, and then the year six is the establishment of a family, of a foundation. Then the seven, the year of seven, it's a question mark for everyone. It's quite spiritual and try to go inside yourself to figure out some of the things that you've learned along the way. And then the eight is just like, ta-da, eureka moment. You already have all the tools and you already know the good and the bad in every situation, or almost every situation, okay, of course. And then you try to figure how to put that in work. People usually talk about manifestation a lot, with a big fat mouth. I'm going to, manifestate something manifest something. I'm going to teach you how to manifest something. And to manifest is just to have an idea and to start working. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. If you want to start something, just do it. Just as simple as a slogan, a publicity slogan. Okay, if you want to start something, just do it. And then if there's something along the way you don't like, you just fail better and get better every single time. And that is a novelty for everyone who's, you know trying to figure out what you're doing. It's also something encouraging for other people around you that are trying to do something, so just do it. Okay, so I was talking to you guys about the power of these two cards. For me, they are quite similar in a way that, if justice is, the rules and the laws, strength is the card that's tried to reinforce them in real life. You see, they're both two women, two very powerful women, and one is the institution, the other one is trying to control herself. She's trying to control the outcome by controlling herself, because the Leo, the lion, is inside of her. So this is a woman that is not playing with fire. This one is trying to weigh the consequences, the good and the bad, good and evil of every kind of situation, and seeing the duplicity in every single aspect. So right now we're trying to see the duplicity in so many things. Saturn will continue to be in a Pisces, so we have this huge connection to discussing religion right now. We have an upcoming full moon in Gemini as I'm recording this. We have an upcoming full moon in Gemini. The sun will be in Sagittarius in 2 or 3 days. And then we have this whole thing connected, this existential discussion about philosophy and believing in something, and how modern times can cope with the existence of belief. Okay, of belief. So Pisces is about belief, Saturn is about discipline and is about rules. So we're trying to figure out the limits of belief and how that can be managed for us to respect each other. There's a war going on because of this, because of colonialism, of course, because of disrespect for human life, but also because there's a belief in something. Okay, I'm not going down the rabbit hole right now. I was talking about these two cards. Okay, there's a quotation that I decided to write in the beginning of this notebook of 2024 that says this: nothing is worth of love but virtue, not of hate but vice. Ability and greatness must be measured by virtue, not by good fortune. Good fortune, aka North Node in the past year in Taurus. It alone is self sufficient, while someone is all it makes them worthy of love and when death of being remembered. Okay, so the main thing that we must remember during the year of 2024 is to be fair with our beliefs and other people's belief and the belief of love. I try to intersect this with a quote by Robert Bold, the amazing man that wrote the script of the movie Mission, The Mission, in 1985, a French movie by Roland Joffé. And it says, "If might is right, this is always ringing in my ear." You know, this quotation is always, it's always in the back of my head. If might is right, then love has no place in the world. It may be so, but I don't have the strength to live in a world like that, Rodrigo. So this is so this was kind of like a synchronicity, because the first quotation it was written by a Jesuit priest, in the seventh century, and the second one is a movie. The Mission is about two just a Jesuit priest trying to save trying to save a community, a tribe in danger by the Portuguese and the Spanish empires at that time. So this is kind of brutal, these words, but there's some kind of internal work that we must do about respect and about um, the love that we feel for our differences. Okay, by our differences and for our differences. And I question a lot of things that because we have Pluto in upcoming transition to Aquarius sun sign. So most of planets are going to be transiting, into fire and air signs. So everything is going to speed a lot. This is going to speed the hell lot of our time. Everything is going to become so fast and so impetuous and um, impulsive that I'm afraid that if people are not capable of discerning um, their passions from justice, it's very important to stand our ground for what we believe. Okay, but at the same time, justice is the forefront of everything. So it's so important to create the law, but the way that we put the law in practice is also very, very important deal. So I put some questions in here that I wrote in the agenda. I can share with you guys. Does evolution mean the end of human race? Okay, because technology was created by humans. It's not responsible itself right now. It can become though, but I feel if it becomes something of evil, it is because we have created it that way. Okay, is pleasure something we can embrace without guilt or feeling privilege? Because every now and then we are being remembered about the privilege of living in certain conditions. If not, I wouldn't be here seated talking about and having the time to talk to you about and the privilege to talk to you about astrology or numerology, or even the simple thing of thinking about life. Okay, and discussing insights and the future, because everyone can see the future. Actually, I was talking with my boyfriend the other day, and I was saying everyone can see the future. You just have to have a good memory, because every single thing repeats itself. in different forms and spaces and timelines, but is always repeating itself. It's it's exhausting and saddens me a little, but I also have faith in the novelty, as I think most of people are. Okay, so I feel that we have to be grateful and aware of the privilege of being able to think about life, because most people do not have that time or opportunity. And then what do we do to become sustainable? That North Node in Taurus, we were talking about Jupiter is going to stay in Taurus. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. It's going to be in Taurus until May, and then it's going to shift into Gemini. So the world of ideas, you see Pluto in Aquarius, Jupiter in Gemini. It is a breakthrough of new ideas. Well, we might be recycling some, but it's, a new kind of, perhaps new breakthroughs in science or technology. I think it's quite exhilarating, that possibility. And then, is genuine love dead? What do we value the most in our lives? And as Gracian wrote, are we better mad with the crowd or sane alone? And why am I asking this on Baltazar's Gracian work? Because are we better mad with the crown or sane alone? The emperor is alone, sitting up there and conquering with his willpower and giving more orders and deciding, what is best for him. So, that every kind of political movement, religious movement, we already know that the crowd doesn't have an intelligent per se intelligence, because we are following the intensity of the feelings and the hysteria and all those things. So it is a great deal of work that we have to do during 2024 to master our desires, to master our logic, the way that we love, the way that we think about other people's kind of other people's opinions of every single subject. Okay, so you already know this is the only the application, the practical application of justice is strength. Okay, and this is mainly the lion. You already know the lion's not only something external to this woman. This woman's trying to balance her fire. Okay, so I'm going to right off the bat tell you that all the air signs are going to be in a very good space this year. Gemini, because Jupiter is making a shift into Gemini. It's an amazing thing, because Gemini, it's already know that Jupiter is expansion, is the wheel of fortune. I think I had the wheel of fortune around here, but doesn't mind. Its expansion is developing something, and Gemini is the world of ideas. It's marketing, communication, writing, speaking, is teaching, is evolving into devolving something new in knowledge and logic, and having Jupiter in this, because it's an opposition, It's so funny because Jupiter rules Sagittarius and now Gemini is in Sagittarius. So this is quite amazing because we are developing knowledge through experience. Okay, that is the thing, and I think it's starting right now because we're about to having a full moon that is opposing Mars and Ceres and the Sun. So I feel that we'll have to make risky choices during 2024, and this is going to hit it's going to hit everyone differently, but it's going to be a year of developing ideas. Okay, so this is one of the things. If you hear something, it is, well, I'm so sorry. It's a lot of noise right now. But I think you can hear me nevertheless, right? I could pause. Let's see what happens. If this, if this ends up being like really, really bad, sound really, really bad, I'm going to cut up and record it again. So, what are the most important transits in 2024? I'm looking up here the things, my notes and the things that I wrote. And the first one is, the beginning, Pluto in Aquarius, okay? And I already wrote, got to be starting something. It's right, because, we're having a stellium in Aquarius in February. So I feel that there are going to be very many developments in science and technology. And then we have the North Node in Chiron and in Aries. There are going to be several conjunctions throughout the year. So there are going to be many open wounds. So that's why it is important to deal with our ego when loving ourselves and others. Okay. So that's why strength, it is a big deal right now. Okay. If not, we're bound to repeat this all over again. Then we have the solar eclipse in Aries. We're going to have several eclipses. We're going to have a moon eclipse. Yeah, this is going to be Libra, Aries, Pisces. Yeah. And then there's going to be a transition because the North Node in 2026 is going to hit Pisces, and the South Node, of course, Virgo. So it is going to be a settlement of everything we've been through, because everything that is in Pisces right now is the end of a cycle, is the end of something. So next year, right now, we're going to have to deal with maturity, with old issues, old themes, old problems in the world. We're seeing that now. And it started, we started to think about every single thing because we had the time to think about that in 2020. Okay, it was a privilege. In some point, if you didn't have anyone killed by that time, by that time, it was a privilege to just being aware of what was happening to you and the transformations, and people at home started questioning so many things. So that was a valuable thing. um, and it's going to show up during 2024. Okay, so then Jupiter is going to conjunct Uranus in April, so there's going to be a change in the finances all over again. We're still feeling the impact of the North Node in Taurus from the last year, and of course Uranus is going to be in Taurus until 2027. And then we have Neptune hitting the energetic degrees in May. So we're going to take a step back and going inwards and trying to make a kind of a shadow work back this time during the beginning of the summer. Then we have Mars conjunct North Node, on Aries, of course. We're going, after we're going inwards, we're going to take action and evolve. And then we have the lunar eclipses. A lunar eclipse, of course, conjunct Neptune and Saturn. They're going to be retrograde. Okay, so there's going to be, after we take action, we're going to have like a truth unraveled by September. And then we're going to have a little bit of the resistance during November and December, because Mars is going to be in opposite of Pluto at 29 degrees, and Mars is going to be retrograde in Leo. So it's going to be a great time to think about the whole thing, the whole year, okay? Because the major retrograde transits are going to be, with no doubt, Mercury. Okay, Mercury is going to be retrograde. And Mercury is always retrograde, almost three times in a year, 3-4 times in a year. And what happens is that this year it's going to transit into Aries and Sagittarius. Okay, Mars is going to be retrograde. Venus is not going to be retrograde, thank God. For our finances and relationships. And Jupiter is going to be retrograde as well from October until February the next year. So Saturn is going to be, Uranus as well, Neptune as well, Pluto as well, and Chiron as well. So I feel that if last year, 2023, the most important thing was to think about value, because the North Node was in Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus as well, Libra. Okay, and I feel that it is so interesting, because what was in the North Node, that it was a Venus ruled sign, it will be in 2024 in the South Node, that is Libra. These two signs are going to be very important for us to think about, because right now the North Node is in Aries, that is about ego, but the next time around the North Node is going to be in Pisces, that is dissolving the ego and understanding the way we can unite with the world and be more than just ourselves. Okay, so right now I feel that last year was mainly focused on value and money and sexuality. The last couple of 2 years, it was sexuality, excess, things being unraveled, things being discovered, scandals, um, uh, everything that was about corruption and sex and money, and of course, the forefront of all of this, we're discussing is this the end of the world? Is this the post-COVID the end of the world? Because everything is speeding up so fast. The conflict is speeding up so fast. Old issues are appearing again, and we do not want to have the same answer than the last 40, 50, 70 years ago. Okay, because these are old problems, and we need new ways of dealing with this. Okay, so until 2026, the North Node is going to be in the Emperor. Is Aries, is about ego, is about pride, is about, no, it's standing in your power. It's not being swifted by external value, is knowing that you have this value inside yourself. Okay, so it is understanding your strength, understanding your shadow, understanding the way that you can balance all of this into one. Okay, so this is the main thing that we're going to think during this year, the main theme. And I was saying to you that Venus was the main theme last year because of North Node in Taurus. This year the main theme is Aries, because and of course the figure of the Emperor, because we have to search inside ourselves before taking the next step. Okay, if not, we're about to repeat everything, Everything we did, everything our parents did, everything our grandparents did, great grandparents, and so forth. Okay? And we've been so amazing in advocating new ways of understanding familiar, trauma bonded relationships with our families and friends, all of that, with astrology and without astrology has been a journey for most of people. So, with this kind of understanding about the world, I do not feel it's understandable that we repeat the same thing. Okay, it is not. I feel so privileged to be alive in a time and place that I have the freedom to talk about these things, um, and I have the freedom to act upon what I feel that is right. Okay, using these tools. Okay. So last year Venus was retrograde because we're thinking about value. What is valuable to me? Most people are so obsessed with money and things and status. Taurus has this amazing thing about statics and harmony and beauty, but it's also a drag when we think about that we are so dependent upon the judgment of other people and what society feels that is valuable. Beauty is also seen as something valuable, as a tool of exchange. It is a coin, it's currency. Okay, beauty is currency, lust is currency, everything is currency. Okay, so we have to think about the value, not the price of something. And that's why Mars is going to be retrograde from December until the 24th of February of 2025. We have a lot to digest by that time, 1 year from now. Okay, so the only thing that I have to add, I feel, because you already have 32 minutes recorded, is with no doubt the things we are feeling right now. Everything. Neptune is in Pisces, Saturn is in Pisces, the North Node is going to hit Pisces 1 year from now. And we have to be aware of beliefs, transcendence, all the in consciousness, everything that is connected to dreams and barriers and self-sabotaging and drugs. Everything is, in a melting pot right now because people do not take reality as it appears. People get anxious, people get sad and lonely, and it's very difficult. Today I was recording an episode. We all, an episode about the full moon in Gemini, and I'm very aware that we all have our days, and life isn't always easy, but we do not have to expect anyone to give us a profile about ourselves, or you don't have to expect someone has an amazing attitude or thought or opinion about you for you to feel satisfied with yourself. Okay, that is Venus. That is not Mars. Mars is, it's not only meaning of war, it's meaning of self-improvement, it's the meaning of self-reliance, it's meaning of knowing who you are in spite of everything. Okay, that's it. To stand your ground, and be faithful to yourself. Okay, so nevertheless, and because I was recording, the past week, you go figure this shit. I was recording because I have classes, and I help kids, pre-teenagers with, Portuguese and history and English and all of that. And I was recording a podcast about the Russian Revolution. Really weird, but they said it helped. So let's do it, I might as well create a podcast about history for teenagers. That will be quite a ride, I'll tell you. So I was trying to explain the whole thing about communism and socialism, and because our country is right now in a very difficult situation, politically and socially and educationally. Lovely. I don't know if this word exists or not. Nevertheless, but I was trying to explain to them the cycles in that appear to be coincidental with these revolutions, and we're starting by the 1970s Russian Revolution, and then in 1953 Stalin died, and Putin was born in 53, and then we have the Soviet Union being dissolved 30, and it's always 36 years, from 36 years and 36 years. So the last one was in 1989, plus 36 years is going to perhaps happen a big revolution in 2026. And there are so many astrologers that are talking about that, in 2025 to 2026. But most astrologers, they really put a significant it's not importance, I'm sorry, a significant weight on 2026. And it makes sense because the nodes are going to change. There are several planets are going to switch um, to Aries. So there's a little bit of fear involved in this, because we're saying goodbye to certain things. But these outer planets, these generational planets, these heavy planets of transformation, hitting these this quite volatile and aggressive sign, uh it's going to be rough. And I just hope we have the insights we need and the maturity we need to deal with some clashes in the future, major clashes. Okay, Neptune is going to transit into Aries and Saturn into Aries. Okay, you see where this is going. Okay, um, so that's it. That's all I have to say about 2024. It's a world of possibilities and ideas. It marks the beginning of Pluto in Aquarius. It's going to stay there until 2044. Pluto hasn't been in an air sign, in Aquarius sun sign since the French Revolution. So we have an upcoming movie about Napoleon Bonaparte. So it's quite amazing to see how history remembers itself and sometimes repeats itself, through art or or politics. Everything, is it's can serve us as a tool of reminding us of that. Nothing is really a novelty. Okay, we just trying sometimes to remember, um, to remember. I'm going to stay. I'm going to end up this way. Okay. So thank you so much for watching, and that's it. Have a lovely and amazing 2024, and be aware always with your eyes open. So that's it. See you soon. Over and out.